Madam Chair, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman's recognized.
Madam Chairwoman, I rise today in support of H.R. 3221, and I ask my colleagues for their support of my amendment to H.R. 3221 and our nation's veterans. I want to thank the chairman and the committee for making my amendment in order today. This amendment would require campus veterans resource officers to act as a link between student veterans and mental health care providers at the Department of Veterans Affairs. With the support of veterans resource officers on university and college campuses, student veterans will be better connected to vital services provided by the Department of Veterans Affairs and will be better prepared to complete their studies. With the recent implementation of the post-9/11 GI Bill, veterans have greater affordability and access to higher education and training. My amendment would help ensure that student veterans are able to complete their degree and graduate. When the recently deployed National Guard members from my district in Mississippi return, I want to see these education benefits accessed by veterans and help those veterans to succeed in their college careers. I'd like to especially commend the unprecedented investments in community colleges included in H.R. 3221. Community colleges in Mississippi are some of the best in the nation, and they play an important role in preparing students for tomorrow's workforce. A community college education is one of the best investments a student can make. I thank our veterans for their service to our nation, and I encourage them to access the training and education benefits they have earned. I urge my colleagues to join me in supporting this important amendment, and I reserve my time.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Minnesota rise?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, I claim the time in opposition to the amendment, although again, I do not intend to oppose the amendment. In fact, this is a very worthy goal.
Objection, gentleman's recognized.
I'll yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman's
Thank you.
recognized.
This is a very worthy goal, and I applaud the gentleman's efforts in putting this amendment together. We should be doing things in all of our legislation that will strengthen the support that we provide for our men and women in uniform while they're in uniform, while they're overseas, when they come back, and when they take the uniform off. So I applaud the gentleman and support the amendment and reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Mississippi.
Madam Chair, may I inquire as to how much time I have?
Gentleman has 3.5 minutes remaining.
I would yield to the gentleman from New Jersey 2 minutes.
Gentleman's recognized.
I thank the author for yielding. I join my friend from Minnesota in supporting this amendment. I know that my friend from Minnesota speaks as a father and a veteran when he speaks in favor of this amendment. We salute his service. This amendment is part of a series of amendments that carry forth a bipartisan tradition in this House that says that we don't want to simply welcome our troops home with welcoming ceremonies. We want to really welcome them home with services and respect and resources that they so richly deserve. And this amendment carries forth that tradition by emphasizing that our veterans who choose to pursue a higher education and who would benefit from the full range of health services that are available to veterans need to have those services. The amendment requires an active liaison process between the veteran service officer on a campus and the healthcare people at the Veterans Administration so that veterans can have the full range of services and frankly try to make as much one-stop shopping as we can. So a veteran who's trying to balance his or her family obligations and work obligations and school obligations, who has some health care issues, is able to get services in one place, maybe instead of 2 or 3. Makes a lot of sense for people. I think the author has reflected the views of his constituents, not only in his district, but veterans around our country. So the majority on the committee is strongly in favor of this proposal because it recognizes not only the service that our veterans have given us, but the needs they have, and we would urge a yes vote. I would yield back to the author of the amendment.
And I would thank the gentleman for his remarks. I would also like to thank the gentleman across the aisle for his kind remarks in support of our veterans as well. Madam Chair, this is simple. This is good for veterans. It's good for universities and community colleges. And this is one way that this body can honor our commitment to our men and women who have worn the uniform so proudly. With that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Minnesota.
We have no excuse.
The gentleman from Mississippi
yield
has
back
the
my
right
time.
to close.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Pardon me?
The gentleman from Mississippi has the right to close, but he just yielded back, so gentleman from Minnesota.
It was a gentleman's amendment.
I have,
Parliamentary inquiry,
Yeah.
Madam Chair. Doesn't the opposite side have the right to close on these amendments as offered?
Only a true opponent has the right to close. When the gentleman claims the time in opposition but does not actually oppose the amendment, then the proponent of the amendment has the right to close.
Thank
under
you.
the rules.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I support this amendment. I support the comments of my colleagues from New Jersey and Mississippi, the author of the bill, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman
I
from
yield back,
Mississippi
Madam Chair.
Also yields back.